Welcome to episode number 23 of Yankee Chatter. This is a special postseason edition. The 2019 season has come to a close, and the postseason is here, Brad. The Yankees officially start their bid for World Series Championship number 28 on Friday as they take on the Minnesota Twins for the ALDS. I'm Greg Andriano. You can find me on Twitter at GregAndriano05. And this is my buddy. Yeah, I forgot for a second. and this is my buddy Brad.
Yeah, I'm Brad. I don't have to look at my Twitter handle. It's Brad of Chatterwood.
See, you're a pro. I'm a rookie here. Anyways, so the season has ended, as we all know. The Yankees picked up their first division title in 7 years since 2012. They finished the season with a 103 win, 59 loss record, which unfortunately, Brad, they missed out on best record in the AL to the Houston Astros, who finished with 107 wins. I didn't even realize they won that many games until I looked it up today.
I didn't realize that the Yankees were that far behind them. They kind of trailed off at the end that far until I looked it up. Yeah,
because they were neck and neck, I think, right around 101 wins, and then
the Yankees kind of scuttered the last 3 or 4 series, injuries.
Yeah.
Plus they kept pitching AAA pitchers, and
AAA would be a compliment, Brad. And then so if they make it all the way through the playoffs, the Yankees will have home field advantage against any team that isn't the Astros or the Dodgers, because the Dodgers finished with 106 wins, and they don't do home field like they used to with the All-Star game,
right?
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So provided they make it through the first round, right? So Brad, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
No. It's it might not actually be that bad for the Yankees to not have home field advantage. I think they prioritized resting their pitchers and shoring up the roster and injury wise for the postseason. So it might not be a bad thing. It all depends on who they're facing and the matchups. So with that, we should probably look at all the matchups going on here.
Yeah. So last night, I don't know if you watched. I don't know if you watched it, but I caught the end.
I saw the first couple innings and then the last 2 innings. So I actually saw the only important parts of the game, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it really was the only part. But, who would have thought Scherzer would have given up a 2-run home run in the first inning and let the Nationals get behind like that? I mean, he's Max Scherzer.
And we're seeing it again tonight without giving anything away with Manaea giving up the runs early. It's kind of seems like every year, unless I don't know if I'm overstating it or not, but it just seems like every year the wild card game is kind of anything can happen. It happened to the Yankees the last couple of years. The pitching wasn't what we thought it was going to be coming out of the gate, and it just seems like that's the way things would go. But yeah, Scherzer struggled a bit, gave up the long ball, but Strasburg came in and held it down for the rest of the game.
And the offense picked them up. I feel bad. I'm glad. I wanted the Nationals to win. That's who I picked, and I think that's who you picked as well. But the way they won, I feel so bad for that right fielder that's the play that costs the Brewers the game. But
I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to cut off the tying run, and then just like a really weird hop. And and what can you do? I know probably didn't sleep much last night. He's probably having a rough day today.
Oh, I'm sure. That's not something you let go easily.
To come back against a guy like Hader it's pretty impressive. And not only that, but Soto, a 20-year-old left-handed hitter, I think they said that was the first hit against Hader since July. So that's pretty impressive.
That Soto kid's going to be something special if he can stay healthy. So Nationals are moving on. They will face the Dodgers. Yep. They head out west. The Dodgers won the NL West. And then the other National League matchup is
Braves and Cardinals.
Braves and Cardinals.
And I think Braves are they the 2 seed? The Braves? Yeah.
Braves are the 2 seed. Braves finished 97-65, and the Cardinals snuck in with 91 wins. So they have the least number of wins in the postseason.
Yeah. We were both wrong about the Braves this year, weren't we? Didn't we both think they were not going to be as good as they were last year? Or I think I had Philly winning the division because of all the trades and signings they made. But I think I will have to go back and look at the tape because we made all those predictions at the beginning of the season. Yeah,
I might have had the Braves win the wild card.
Okay,
So
I know I had Washington winning the division. I had them. I think the Mets as the wild card actually.
we'll have to go look at the tape when the season's over. See who got
Check
taped.
tape.
What year is it?
I know I was right about the Cubs not doing that good shit. I don't know what you did, but
I think I picked the Brewers to follow up and win the division.
okay.
But
I actually picked the Cardinals. So.
And it's hard to not pick the Dodgers. Every other team in that division is trash. Sorry, other teams in the division, if you happen to watch this.
It's truth.
It's true. So, all right. So that takes care of the National League. What's happening in the American League, Brad?
It's the American League. The winner of tonight's game will head out to Houston. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be Tampa Bay, but as we saw last night, you don't know what's going to happen in the later innings. You got to figure Houston's going to have a huge advantage against either one of those teams that they play. And then you got the Yanks playing the 20s, same as thing that happened in 2009 when they had pretty much an identical type season. So it's going to be a very interesting series. I don't think it's something that Yankees should overlook, and I don't think they are. I think us fans kind of overlook the Twins more than the players do, because the players have more respect for each other and realize that they're not. Well, I mean, they're a good team.
They are a really good team, and people forget how they are a very high octane, high offense team. Yeah. I mean, they hit one more home run than the Yankees, who both set major league records for team home runs this year, 307, 306 respectively. Yeah. So, can't take that offense lightly. And I know people will think back, they always seem to have the Twins number. I'm not holding my breath. Anything can happen. We've seen it in years past. But it's just interesting. If the Yankees beat the Twins, then they'll likely, and there's no guarantee, but they could end up facing the Astros. Well, it makes sense that they would end up facing the Astros because the Astros have always had their number. Just like in 2009, they faced the Angels in the LCS, and the Angels were the team that kept knocking them out of the playoffs. So, in my opinion, if they make it to the LCS and the Astros make it to the LCS, that's the team I want to face. That's the team I want to beat because it means more.
I mean, I don't want to say I particularly want to play Houston in the LCS.
No, I don't either. If an easier option comes around, that'd be great. But
right. I mean,
let's be realistic.
Say Tampa, if they get the LCS and Tampa knocks out Houston, and the Yankees pretty much have home field advantage whether in Tampa or New York. And I think it's a team I'm so familiar with that I don't think it'd give them a lot of problems outside of Charlie Morton. So I would definitely take Tampa over Houston, but I think we both agree Houston's going to be there. Houston doesn't have any weakness. I mean, I want to sit here and say all along that the Yankees have a better team, but they really don't. I mean, if you look at the rosters, Houston's whole offense is just firepower, and then their starting pitching is unreal, and then they have a really good bullpen to top it. There's really no weakness to Houston, so
there's not. So if they happen to beat them, it's going to be because of pretty much luck.
Well, not luck. It's it's just who plays better. I mean, baseball. This is all right. So I'm watching right now the game on Statcast on ESPN2. They have 2 broadcasts tonight. ESPN2 is doing all Statcasts. So all like analytics, the whole thing. And I get it, analytics makes sense. I mean, look at Houston leads the league in analytics. They have the best analytics department every year, and they're winning a lot. But to me, baseball is one of those things that you just don't know what's going to happen on a night. A basis like last night, who would have thought Scherzer was going to give up those runs? Who would have thought Omar Minaya would give those runs tonight early? So you can say all the analytics you want. When it comes down to it, it's just whoever plays better. So I think that's what every series comes down to. Who just plays better.
Well, you got to even look at 2017 for the Yankees. They beat the heavy favorites Cleveland Indians.
Yeah,
right. And they were within a game of going to the World Series that year against the same Houston Astros. So
within like a foot at you, and Todd Frazier hit the wall missed a home run by like a foot there. Yeah.
So you never know. So with that said, we can maybe talk about predictions later if we have time. They haven't officially released the division series roster yet. The Yankees haven't announced who's starting yet. They haven't announced which players they're going to have in uniform on Friday. So, I put together a list of who I think is going to make the roster, but it's pretty certain that 90% of this roster is solidified. So why don't we, instead of talking about the obvious like Gary Sanchez, LeMahieu, and
Yeah, I think
Judge.
everyone that's watching knows the definition. So I think we just go right to the ones that are on the fringe.
So, all right. So it's pretty much going to come down to the bench players for me.
Right.
And obviously you're going to have your backup catcher, so that's a guarantee. But my bench, I have Tyler Wade, Mike Ford, and Cameron Maben as my bench, and I'll tell you why. I don't have Luke Voit making this roster. Now, if he was playing as well as he was playing at the beginning of the year, no doubt he makes the roster hands down. But over his last 30 games, he hasn't played very well, and I don't know if he's still fighting off an injury or what. Maybe he needs to just get healthy and be ready for the LCS if it comes to that. Mike Ford's been hitting really well. He hit 9 home runs in the last month of the season. So, and he's a left-handed bat. I want him coming off the bench. Maybe not so much playing defense. I got LeMahieu playing first and Encarnacion as my DH throughout the whole series. So, I mean, and why would you have it any other way? You want Stanton in the outfield. You don't want Maben or Tyler Wade. But the reason I got Maben is he's your defensive upgrade.
He's your defensive replacement, yep.
And plus he has speed. So you have 2 options off the bench between Wade and Maben that can steal bases and score your runs late in the game. If you get the bottom of the ninth coming up and you got Sanchez and someone else that's not fleet of foot, Encarnacion on base, you got 2 options right there that you can pinch run for both of those guys, and it could win you the game. And we saw it in 2004 with the Red Sox. They pinch ran Dave Roberts every game of that series, and he pretty much was the deciding factor other than Ortiz. But him getting on base and causing all that commotion definitely threw off the Yankee pitchers. So it's definitely a benefit to have guys like that coming off the bench.
So for all the reasons you said, you got to start stacking up to be what you said. So I think everyone's going to agree that Maven's your 4th outfielder, and then your backup infielder is going to be Tyler Wade. So those 2 have to make the team along with Romine. It's just that last guy, and then it comes down to Voit or Ford because they're going to go with the rest of the pitchers. They're not going to go with more than a 3-man bench.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for everything you just said, I mean, it's got to be Ford because you're not going to lose any speed by not having Voit. All right, Voit and Ford.
That's even right there.
Going to steal bases at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
game. Defensively, one I don't think is any defensively better than the other one.
No.
When you're gonna, so I think what you have to do is you have to go by who's playing better right now, and that's Ford. Plus Ford's the lefty, and Ford, even if he does strike out or if he doesn't get a hit, he always gives you a good at bat. He never looks out of the bat, and sometimes Voit just gives you those at bats where he's just kind of waving at the pitch and he's guessing.
Well,
and you can tell.
I think you said it recently. I think towards the end of the season, Voit just looks lost at the plate. He's just up there swinging. He isn't. I don't think he has a plan. When he first started getting into his slump, he was at least hitting balls hard. He was just hitting right at people. But I think he's the type of guy that if things aren't necessarily going the way he plans, he starts taking it to heart. He's a very emotional player.
He is emotional, and that's why he's so streaky. Because when Voit gets hot, he's hot. He had a good portion of this season where he was a big part of the offense, and when he's driving the ball the other way and locked in, it's a huge part of your offense. He's just not there right now, and
pretty much.
Unfortunately, you can't worry about hurting people's feelings right now. You got to go with the hot hand and what's better for the team. That's Mike Ford right now.
I mean, he was pretty much carrying the offense up until the London series when he got hurt running the bases.
Yeah.
Voit. So like I said, if this was the beginning of the season, Voit, he makes the roster hands down. He might even be your starting first baseman.
Yeah.
And then that may bring up the discussion of benching Didi and having Torres at shortstop and LeMahieu at second, because Didi's been struggling.
Well, if you do
something
that,
fierce.
Who's going to play first, Ford? I mean.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If Voit makes the team, he might be your starting. If he's hitting like he was hitting at the beginning of the year, he's your starting first baseman.
Yeah,
then you make that shift. But because he's not hitting well and because he's not putting out good at bats, I don't think you can risk the chance of running him out there when you have someone that might put up a better at bat, put up a better series than him. So
Right. And you know what? And I saw some person tweeted out having LeMahieu at first base uh is kind of wasting his defensive ability, and I disagree. I think when you have the infield the Yankees have, having a guy like Mayo at first base is not only fine because the rest of the field are just capable, but also
Mm-hmm.
people seem to forget how important the position of first base really is. I mean,
It's true.
For those that aren't watching, uh, Oakland scored the run because of a bad throw by the third baseman. It should have been easy out of first, and it was a one hopper, like a skipped one hopper that the first baseman should have actually picked.
Mm-hmm.
And a good first baseman like Mayu is going to pick that ball. So it's actually kind of important to have a good fielder at first base too.
Mm-hmm.
People ignore that all the time.
It's true. They just think, well, the guy can hit home runs, so let's just stick him at first. It doesn't matter. But they're on the back end of every play in the infield, right? So you want to make sure that you're, especially if they end up playing in a place like Oakland with that big foul territory, any overthrow
exactly
is going to, like you saw, it cost them 2 bases. So if you get a guy in there like LeMahieu, you're just shoring up the entire infield. Why wouldn't you want that?
And LeMahieu's going to get to a foul ball in Oakland faster than Voit.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. It's true. So, are there any other position players that you think might make the team, or I feel like everyone else is pretty much self-explanatory.
I think if Frazier kept his mouth shut this year and it was a little bit better in the field, I think it'd be a harder conversation between him and Maven. But obviously, between his fielding screw ups and then his kind of coded tweets and all that Instagram stuff, kind of made the Yankees' decision a little bit easier to send him down. Strider and Wade are pretty much the same player, so made that decision to send him down easier. Higashioka, as I actually really like him, but Romine is just a veteran back there, and you want that if it happens to be if it comes down to having someone play catcher other than Sanchez, you're going to want the veteran Romine in there. So there's really no other close.
Well, the nice thing about Higgy is that if something were to happen, I'm very confident in him filling in. He did a very nice job this year.
He's a good catcher. Yeah,
he is good catcher. He can hit. He's got some pop. So,
pitching wise,
yes, that's a different story.
I don't know what they're gonna do with long term relief. I don't want Cortez on the roster. I don't want Guerin on the roster. And I hate Sessa, but you're gonna have to put someone out there with long relief, and it might be CeCe. I'll take CeCe over any of those guys right now, and that's saying a lot because he's not the best right now, but that's what I'm hoping for. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I don't know how many pitchers they need to figure out. But
well, if you do the Romine, Wade, Ford, and Maben, that's a 4-man bench.
Yeah.
And then you have 8 position players plus a DH, so that's 13. So that's 12 pitchers they'll have.
Okay. And but you only need to carry what? 3 or 4 starters. You're probably gonna carry 4 starters.
That's kind of what I have. I have a 3-man rotation, at least for the ALDS. I got Paxton, Severino, and Tanaka. Those are my choices.
Right.
And then I think you throw Happ and Sabathia as your long men and get rid of Sessa and Cortez.
And then you're gonna have Green out there as kind of the anytime pitcher, whether it's
anytime pitcher or yes, exactly. Yeah. And then you have. I also put Montgomery on the roster.
Yeah, you think he makes the roster?
I mean, I would much rather have him than Cortez or Sessa.
I agree.
I agree. plus if you have Happ, Sabathia, and Montgomery, that's 3 left-handed long relievers.
Yeah.
I want the lefty long reliever in Yankee Stadium. Just my personal opinion.
It makes sense with the stadium.
Yeah. I got Heller, Canley, Britton, Ottavino rounding out the bullpen with Chapman as the closer. Yeah. So I like you and I talked about, Voit, Frazier are the position players that get snubbed, the big ones. Sessa, Cortez, and then I don't want to see David Hale or Loaizaga.
No, a lot of people think Loaizaga going to be that extra pitcher that makes the roster. Man, he's been brutal.
He's struggling. Yeah. And I was looking at Tarpley, might be another name that might pop up, but I was looking at their numbers and they struggled coming down the stretch.
Awful.
So I don't want them. I want CC in there. I want someone that's been there before. I want someone that's gonna be a bulldog, that's gonna go out there and fight. That we know he's gonna, and then he's got that mentality that's gonna rub off on all the other guys. He's a
They can
leader.
also,
You
if they
want him
go
on the
to,
roster.
if they go to a 3-man rotation, they can also put Hap in the bullpen as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. And I mean, it's a question I'm going to ask later, so I won't even address it with the
Okay.
opener. But that's kind of one thing that might come up in this series. So I mean, that kind of covers everything. The only question mark we have for position players, other than who we've talked about, is Didi. Now, Didi's really strong on the defensive side of the ball, but he's struggling offensively. And I think he'll be the starting shortstop. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's got the mentality. He's a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to see him in the top half of the order.
And I don't think he will be. I think they bat Didi. I'm gonna say 7th or 8th, or above Gardner.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine with me. I think that's great. And then you surround him with guys that can produce, and then maybe he'll start producing. You don't want to, put him in a high leverage spot in the order, 3rd or 4th, like he was doing in August, and have him not producing like he is. You want someone that's going to
very streaky player, so you got to hope
he
he gets off to a good start in the first game, and then we'll be worried about it.
He is. Now, he has performed in the postseason before, so things may change.
Yeah.
Once, I mean, you could say the same for Voit. He might step up to the plate in the postseason, and everything changes. But you just got to go off the information you have. So, with that said, why don't we dive into the questions? If our viewers or viewer remember, we switched formats up last episode. We each ask each other, alternating, asking each other a single question. Neither of us have seen the question beforehand, so it's kind of, we're answering off the cuff here. First thing that comes to your mind, sort of kind of situation here. With that said, these questions, I mean, my questions are geared all towards the postseason and playoffs.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
it's postseason edition. Come on.
It's special edition postseason right here. You want to go first? You want to ask the question? Or you want me to ask you, Court?
I'll go first.
All right.
Are you ready?
Go for it.
Greg, you live near Tampa. You've been to Tampa. You've been in the field. You've been in Tropicana Field. If Tampa is to survive this game against Oakland, do you think for a playoff game, Tampa gets enough fans to open up the second level?
Yes, I do.
Regardless if it's the Twins or Yankees?
I think so.
Well, I'm sorry. Be against Houston the first round. So against Houston. Okay.
I think so.
I think it'd be an embarrassment for Major League Baseball if they didn't. So.
Mm-hmm. I think Tampa being in the playoffs, first time since 2013, some of the fans are going to start, and if they win this game, the fans are going to be coming out of the woodwork, and they'll show up. Plus, Tampa, this whole area is a melting pot of different fan bases.
Yeah.
So you get Houston, there are probably going to be a lot of Houston fans in the area that will easily go to those games. So I could see them drawing crowds for playoff games. I mean, the Lightning do it, and they're like 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away from St. Pete. So.
Do Lightning draw a good crowd for regular season games, though? I think they do.
I have been to a Lightning game, and they played the Panthers, I think, and there was a packed house a couple years ago.
The Bucks do too, so
yeah,
it's just baseball for some reason.
Well, St. Pete isn't the best area. It's kind of like in the middle of nothing. So if they were to move to Tampa, I'm sure they would get a better, better showing. Or Montreal. Yeah. I'd like to see them go to Montreal. I'd like to see the Expos come back, but that's a different conversation. All right,
go ahead.
Okay. My first question is a two-parter. Who is your game 1 starter for the Yankees, and how long of a leash do you give him?
My game 1 starter, my personal, who am I? All right, let's clear it up. Am I guessing who will they start, or would I start?
Who would you start and why?
All right, I'm giving Tanaka the ball in game 1 because he's never let us down in the postseason. He knows his job. For some reason, he just performed very well under pressure. once the lights are on the postseason. He's done it before. He's the guy I trust the most right now. I'm putting Tanaka out there. And as far as a leash, it's not a wild card game. It's not one and done. I have confidence in the guys after him. So if he gives up a few runs in the first 2 innings, I'm sticking with him unless, obviously it gets out of hand. So I will say Tanaka, and I really don't have that short of a leash on him.
Okay.
It's
cool,
very nice going this that we finally can go into a series and not a one-game playoff and worry about the short leash.
Yes, it is. It is nice. It is nice, and it's nice having somewhat of a rotation where you actually have options for who you would start for game one.
I mean, I love Severino, and other than the last game, he's looked good, but he has proven in postseason he's not that great. He needs to tone down, and I still think he's like a game 3 starter. Paxton's done really, really well lately, but I'm still going with Tanaka.
Well, Paxton was my choice, just because of how well he pitched down the stretch.
Yeah, he did.
And
he has a sore ass cheek, so.
Yeah, don't we all? All right, next question.
All right, Greg. More likely, does Washington beat the Dodgers or does Tampa/Oakland beat Houston? Which is more likely?
I think Tampa/Oakland beats the Astros, and I'll tell you why. Dodgers are by far the best team in the National League. I mean, they just steamrolled everybody. And the only time I've seen them struggle was when they faced the Yankees. The Yankees actually won that series. I think the way Oakland has been playing, if they get through, even the Rays, because they both played really well towards the end of the season. I think they could, with the pitching, they could match up with Houston and they can make it a good series and they could give them a run for their money.
Okay. Fair enough. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I think it's pretty even. I would have picked Washington, actually, believe it or not, because I just think they got the pitching. I mean, Scherzer's not going to struggle as bad as he did last night, 2 games in a row, if you ask me. Strasburg looked great last night. He's looked great all year. And Corbin's been great, actually had a decent year, too. So I think they have the pitching to match up with the Dodgers. So I would pick Washington. But for the same reasons, actually, as you listed for.
Yeah. The edge for me is the offense. The Dodgers just have such a deep offense that
they do.
I mean, the Nationals have a couple really good hitters, but the from top to bottom, the Dodgers are just deep.
Yep.
So that's why I give them the leg up. So next question for you is another.
Right.
It's kind of a 3-part. I know, multiple parts.
You get one question here, and you've already asked me 2, and now we're going to 5.
There's layers. There's layers to these questions. Do you see the Yankees using an opener in the division series or at all?
Okay, what's part 2?
I can't ask you until you answer this part.
Do I see them doing it? Yes, I do. And I think it's going to come into play in game 3 with Severino.
Okay. Do you think they should? Whether or not.
Actually, believe it or not, I was about to say no because that's my initial reaction. Whenever the word opener comes up, I say no because I hate it.
Yeah.
But with Severino and the way he is in the playoffs, so he's like super amped up for the game, and that's why he gets into trouble. I think it's actually really good for him to come out of the bullpen. So yeah, I'd say if they wait till that start, it'd be a good thing.
Okay. And if they did an opener, or if you could pick the opener, who would you pick?
And it's Green. I mean,
okay.
I don't really see any other option. I don't think the Yankees would see any other option. Tampa Bay just hit another home run, so it's 5-1 now. I don't see any other option other than Green. Okay. I don't think you throw a CC or Hap out there for an inning.
All right. Good. Next question.
Do you agree, or do you have any intel on that, or is it just good?
That's good. Well, I mean, I can see them doing one. I don't think they should do it. I am very concerned with using openers, especially in the division series. But if they were to do it, I would see if the series was tied at 1 in game 3, I would say use the opener then, so then you can reuse your 1 and 2 starters for the last 2 games. That's the only time I would do it. But Chad Green's been your opener all year. No
Right.
reason not to use him.
All right, Greg. Question 3. If you had one game to win the playoffs, kind of like a wild card game, one or done, and you had your pick of any team's ace, which one are you using?
That's tough. I think I'm going to take. Verlander.
Okay. So I originally brought the question, which team's ace, but then started thinking about it. A lot of teams have 2 aces, unlike the Yankees. So I guess if I ask the question is any team's pitcher,
So for me, it comes down to pitching staff. I think the Astros by far have the best pitching staff between Cole and Verlander. Cole hasn't really been to the playoffs before. He was there with the Pirates a few years ago. Verlander is proven. I mean, he did it with Tigers. He did it with the Astros. So to me, he's my guy. If Scherzer had more success in the postseason, I would pick him. But Verlander is my top choice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I probably would agree with Verlander just because of his track record, and he's just a warrior out there. You can't really go against him. I was thinking, the Dodgers they had Buehler and Ryu and Kershaw. Those are all good options, and Washington has good options, and not so much the Braves or Cardinals. Although Cardinals had some Flaherty, I think, that pitched really good down the stretch. No one really for the Twins I would pick. They have Brios who's going to pitch against Yankees game 1. But he actually didn't have that great year. He had like a quarter of his starts. I think 6 starts he struggled on. So, yeah, I'd probably agree with either with Verlander because I think Cole hasn't pitched much in the postseason. When he didn't do very well. But that was before Houston, so he's not the same guy, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's something in the water down in Houston. He's probably going to be a completely different pitcher.
Well, a pitching coach should probably get a managerial spot soon. Preferably
in the
league.
Yeah. All right.
Greg,
so we've been focusing on other series. Let's focus more on the Yankee series coming up. Who do you think in the Twins lineup poses the biggest threat against the Yankees, or who do you see as the biggest Yankee killer in that Twins lineup?
Easy, Nelson Cruz. He's
okay.
I mean, he's the ageless wonder. He just always seems to play very well against the Yankees, against everybody really. But he's the guy that makes the lineup go. He broke his hand, came back this year, didn't even skip a beat. He knows what he's doing there. He has a great approach at the plate. He's the one guy that when you mention the Twins and their lineup, even though their lineup is super high powered and they can hit a lot of home runs, obviously, he's the guy I think about right away. He's the first guy that comes to mind. So Nelson Cruz.
All right. Well, I did a little research on this topic because I was actually really curious. Looking back to the series the Yankees played against them, I remember there are a handful of guys that seemed to hit a lot of home runs against them. Nelson Cruz in the series against the overall this year against the Yankees went 6 for 23, 261, 5 home runs and 7 RBIs. Mitch Garver.
How many games was it?
6, I think it was. 6 games.
5 home runs in 6 games. Okay.
Yeah. Mitch Garver, their catcher, he was 6 for 16, 375, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. And I thought Jorge Polanco would be one, but the Yankees held him in check.
Did. I do remember that.
I mean, he did hit 2 home runs against them. Yeah. But I think he was hitting like 160 against the Yankees this year.
Yeah, I didn't really know much about Polanco. I was excited to see him play and see how good he really is. And I remember him not doing much. I remember that.
He hit a home run in like his first at bat, and then after that, I think they held him in check. Okay. Eddie Rosario is another guy that gave the Yankees some problems. He went 7 for 23, 304 with a home run and 5 RBIs. So there are some guys, but yes, I do agree. Nelson Cruz is the key guy. He's been around forever. He's been on so many different teams, and he always gives the Yankees problems. Batting average, I looked up his career against the Yankees. He's like 220-something, but he has 19 home runs and 70-something RBIs against the Yankees in his lifetime. So got to pitch to him. Got to pitch to him and make it count.
And everyone seems to forget that he was caught using PEDs. No one talks. I feel like the guys that had a longer career after the whole steroid era are kind of forgotten and aren't looked at as bad people, like the PD users that retired like right afterwards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think people are going to hold Cruz to a different standard than A-Rod or Pettit. Like, I think Pettit gets a really bad rap when you got guys that use PDs that are still playing the game today that no one talks about.
Like Ryan Braun.
Right. No one says anything about Ryan Braun anymore. It's about, and Ryan Braun ruined the guy's life. Okay, and he got tested positive twice. So I mean, Ryan Braun made a lot of people look bad that backed him up, and no one talks about it anymore. All everyone talks about is how good of a year he had. So.
Yep.
All right. Ready?
Next question.
Fourth question. I've written down here. Okay. Is this a make or break postseason for Didi if he wants to continue being a Yankee next year? Do you think it comes down to how he performs this postseason?
Yes, I do. I had a whole different episode written up for last time we recorded, and one of the big talking points was Didi's future with the Yankees. Because he struggled down the stretch, and because the Yankees have options if he were to sign elsewhere, being Torres shifting over to short and having LeMahieu become your second baseman, or someone else within the organization, or making a different signing elsewhere, I think if Didi puts up, then the Yankees will make a push to re-sign him. I think if he struggles like he struggled in September, then why they want someone that's going to perform in the postseason. Didi didn't perform when they needed him most. So I think, yes, this is a make or break postseason for Didi signing with the Yankees next year. Re-signing with the Yankees. What do you think?
I actually disagree. I think similar to the postseason roster, it's actually Didi or the first baseman. All right, because if you ship Torres the shortstop and you got LeMahieu playing second, well, first of all, no one talks about is Urshela going to be the same kind of guy next year playing third, or are you going to want LeMahieu playing third? Or Andujar? I mean, we don't know. But third base is a big question next year too. But first base, if you do have LeMahieu switch over to second or third, then are you still confident in this Voit-Bird competition again next year? Like, because that's where the Yankees would be. I still think I'd rather have Didi on my team